Suppose you go to a friend's house to stay for a few nights, and after some time you come to know that the area where you are staying is haunted, with spirits living all around you. You might imagine feeling scared and in awe, but how would you feel if you heard that many years ago, someone else had experienced all these strange things in that exact place? Today's story is about that person. This story takes place in the USA, in a neighborhood called Riverview, where all these incidents happened. The person who experienced this trauma still lives with the fear of what happened to him that night. Some say that in 2012, many people in this area lost their lives due to the presence of a malevolent spirit. This terrifying tale even made its way into local newspapers like the New York Times. This spirit doesn't haunt just one house, it controls the entire area. So if you ever visit Riverview, be alert because you never know what might happen to you. Now listen to this story carefully. In 2012, a young man named Adam came to Riverview to stay with a friend. Adam worked in the film industry and had come for a shoot at Hollywood studios. His friend Lisa lived in Riverview, and he thought, why stay at a hotel when I can stay with Lisa? So, he called her up and asked if he could stay at her place. Lisa agreed, but before hanging up, she tried to tell Adam something important. But he didn't listen and quickly disconnected the call. When Adam arrived at Lisa's house, she warned him, Adam, you can stay here for a few days, but there's one thing you must remember: never roam around after 6 p.m. Not just midnight, but after 6 p.m., people don't wander here because this place is haunted. The spirits take over the streets. Adam, who didn't believe in such stories, laughed it off. Oh, come on, Lisa. You know I don't believe in ghosts. It's all just superstitions, he said, but little did Adam know this was about to become his reality. The next morning, Adam left for his shoot at Hollywood studios, a place already known for its haunted reputation. Before leaving, Lisa reminded him again, Adam, I'm serious, come back home before 6 p.m. If you're late, don't come through the street and take care. Adam nodded, but he was caught up with work, and shooting took longer than expected. By the time he realized it, it was already late at night. He hailed a cab to return to Lisa's, but when they reached the street leading to her house, the cab driver refused to go any further. I can't drive down that street, he said, trembling. Adam was confused. Why not? He asked, but the driver just shook his head and told Adam he would have to walk the rest of the way. Adam noticed how nervous the driver was but brushed it off as superstition. As Adam started walking down the empty street, he noticed something strange. There wasn't a single person around. No people, no animals, nothing. The street was eerily silent. It felt like a ghost town, and Adam couldn't shake the uneasy feeling growing inside him. Lisa's warning echoed in his mind, and he quickened his pace. Suddenly, Adam felt as though someone was following him. He turned around several times but saw no one. The feeling of being watched grew stronger with each step. Then he looked back one last time and saw something standing in the distance. It wasn't human. It was a dark, shadowy figure, completely featureless yet terrifying. Panic took over, and Adam began running. He could hear footsteps behind him, getting closer. He sprinted faster, heart pounding, until he finally saw an open door to a nearby house. Without thinking, he dashed inside, slamming the door behind him. Inside, Adam took a deep breath, thinking he was safe. The house was dark but seemed normal. He figured the owners must be home, so he ventured further inside and saw a man standing in the hallway. The man looked scared too, startled by Adam's sudden appearance. Who are you? What are you doing here? The man asked, still shaken. I'm sorry, Adam replied, but something chased me down the street and I needed to hide. I didn't mean to intrude. The man listened to Adam's story and calmed him down. This area isn't safe after dark, he explained. You can stay here tonight. Adam felt relieved. Soon the man's wife and kids joined them, making Adam feel a little more at ease. He was exhausted but too afraid to sleep. Throughout the night, the family stayed with him, keeping him company as he sat in the corner, still trembling from the ordeal. When morning came, Adam thanked the family and hurried back to Lisa's house. As soon as he entered, Lisa bombarded him with questions. Where were you last night? I called, but your phone was off. I was so worried. Adam explained everything, from the shadowy figure to the family who had taken him in. I stayed at the house down the street, the one near the entrance. They were so kind, they saved me. Lisa's face turned pale. What house? She asked. The one right at the start of the street, Adam replied. Lisa shook her head. That house has been abandoned for years. The family who lived there, they all died. They committed suicide together, and since then, no one has set foot in that place. You didn't stay with living people, Adam. You stayed with their spirits. Adam felt the blood drain from his face. He couldn't believe what Lisa was saying. But when he thought back to the faces he had seen, they matched the figure he had seen on the street. His mind raced. Had he spent the night with the dead? In shock, Adam asked Lisa, "Why is this happening? Why does this area feel so cursed?" Lisa told him a story. In 2012, a local church was torn down, and ever since, strange things started happening. People said that after 6 p.m., a spirit wanders the streets, seeking revenge. It's believed to be the spirit of someone who was connected to the church, and now it brings death to anyone who dares to stay out after dark. Over the years, so many people had died or experienced terrifying encounters that most residents had either moved away or barricaded themselves indoors before sunset. Some houses had "God bless" signs painted on the doors, hoping it would ward off the spirit, much like the story of the movie The Conjuring. After hearing all this, Adam knew one thing for sure: he couldn't stay there any longer. That very day, he packed up and left Riverview, never to return. From that day on, he avoided anything related to haunted places, including his work at Hollywood studios. Ghosts and spirits, he realized, are not something to take lightly. They may not want good for you, and some of them even want to see you suffer, just as they did in life.